If you have or suspect you may have a health problem, or if you require answers to specific healthcare questions or concerns, you should consult your physician or healthcare provider and not depend solely on information presented in this program.
Coming up today on To Your Health, diabetes. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, in 2012, a staggering 29.1 million Americans had diabetes. That's almost 10% of the population. 1.7 million new cases are diagnosed each year. 86 million Americans are pre-diabetic, and they don't even know it. It's the seventh leading cause of death in the United States. But there is hope. Today, we'll talk to a doctor who's made it his life's mission to help people not only prevent diabetes, but reverse it through nutrition and natural methods. And we'll hear from a man who completely reversed his type 2 diabetes after adopting a nutrient-dense diet and an active lifestyle. We're also going to share some simple, nutritious recipes that will help your body heal and inspire a healthier new you. That's all coming up next on To Your Health. We're talking today about diabetes, a disease which occurs when blood sugar levels are too high and the body's ability to produce or respond to the hormone insulin is impaired. We're joined by Dr. Joel Fuhrman, a board-certified family physician and nutritional researcher who specializes in preventing and reversing diabetes through nutritional and natural methods. Dr. Fuhrman is a best-selling author of several books, including The End of Diabetes. Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
So this is a staggering illness. So many people have this disease and they don't even know it. Can you talk a little bit about what it really is and its impact?
That's right. It's a serious issue because about 1/10 of our population presently have diabetes, but about 1/3 of those people who have it don't even know they have it. But diabetes accelerates the aging process. When you have diabetes, it doubles your risk of having a premature heart attack. It's the leading cause of blindness and leg amputations and kidney failure in this country. It makes your life more tragic and more filled with medical problems that could develop. And you know what? The most tragic thing about it is it didn't have to occur. Let me just say that one thing is type 2 diabetes is a preventable illness. And in the vast majority of cases, it's even reversible in that people can become non-diabetic. So all these people getting kidney failures or leg amputations or becoming blind from it or having heart attacks, right, didn't have to happen.
So what's going on with conventional medicine then? Why are they telling us that we just need to take medication?
Yeah, you know, that's a major issue because even the Accord study followed diabetics with better medical care and better control to get more medications, keep the glucose down lower, and those people had more issues, increased morbidity and mortality, and they had to stop the study. The point is that the high glucose levels in diabetes are dangerous, but when you lower your glucose levels with medication, extra insulin and some of the medications that promote the beta cells to work harder to produce more insulin accelerate the rate at which the diabetes advances. Because the insulin makes you gain weight, and weight gain makes you more insulin resistant, and pushing the failing beta cells in the pancreas that are producing too much insulin already, because type 2 diabetes isn't an absolute insulin deficiency. It's that the body is insulin resistant and the insulin isn't working right. And the beta cells in the pancreas are already overworked producing too much insulin. So the medications that make the beta cells produce even more insulin burn out those cells to cause beta cell failure even quicker, and the diabetes becomes more advanced. So what's a person to do? And what's a doctor to do? Do you let the diabetes be out of control? Or do you give them more medication to bring the sugars down? And I'm saying that we've gone in the wrong direction. We've got to get these people to eat differently. It's the diet style that caused the diabetes to begin with, and it's a combination of being overweight and the low nutrients in the tissues from eating a diet that's not well designed for our human species.
And is that the case with both type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes, that it's the diet? I don't think that that's necessarily the case with type 1, or am I wrong?
Right, that's a difficult question to answer, but let me just describe it. So right, type 2 is predominantly dietary induced. Now type 1 diabetes and type 2 is the reversible type of diabetes, where 90% of people with type 2 diabetes eating a Nutritarian diet, an aggressive diet designed to reverse diabetes, 90% can get rid of their diabetes and become non-diabetic, meaning they can lose their weight, drop 50 to 80 pounds, get the beta cells working again, not get rid of their insulin resistance, and have normal blood sugars without medication. Now, a type 1 diabetic their beta cells in the pancreas have generally been destroyed when they were very young. So they can eat right and use half as much insulin, but they're not going to get rid of their diabetes. They're going to extend their lifespan because the excess use of insulin in a type 1 diabetic has effects to increase morbidity and mortality. So type 1 diabetics are a very serious condition because the majority of those people with type 1 have a shortened lifespan and dramatic increased risk of heart attack. And I'm saying that that shortened lifespan and increased heart disease and problems with blindness and kidney failure in type 1 doesn't have to occur. They can have a normal lifespan. They can use a half as much insulin because it's not good enough to control their glucose with as much insulin as you want to use, because insulin is a growth-promoting hormone. It promotes angiogenesis, which means it promotes cancer cells to replicate and enable to feed themselves. So it accelerates your death if you overuse insulin. So we have to get a type 1 using less insulin and not being insulin resistant like type 2s are. There are so many type 1s. Most type 1s in this country have insulin resistance on type of their type 1, requiring them to use excess amount of insulin. So this is for both type 1 and type 2, but the type 1s are still diabetic, of course.
So let's talk about your diet. You mentioned it briefly, the Nutritarian diet. This is a way of helping diabetics actually reverse diabetes.
That's right.
So obviously it's a nutrient-dense diet. Talk about what it really is.
That's right. The Nutritarian means nutrient-dense. So it's a diet designed with a high nutrient per calorie density, which means it's rich in micronutrients. And we know the foods richest in micronutrients are things like colorful vegetables and green vegetables and beans and berries and mushrooms and onions and flax seeds.
Stuff that's not packaged.
Yes. These natural foods that have not just a lot of vitamins and minerals, but they have actually thousands of phytochemicals that protect the body's immune system and prevent heart disease, prevent inflammation, and prevent cancer. And my findings are that when a diet is too low in nutrients, it leads to excessive hunger and unrelenting food cravings and food addictions.
And then you eat junk.
Right. And you could become addicted to those foods. And what we do by flooding the body with a high level of fiber and nutrients is it naturally reduces the appetite. And with time, people don't want to overeat calories anymore. And they don't feel shaky and weak, like they're hypoglycemic, having to eat foods for energy.
How can it actually reverse diabetes, though?
Well, it's a combination of factors.
Because you lose weight?
Yeah, it's because it's not just the weight loss, but the weight loss plays a strong role. We find that about more than half of the patients don't even need diabetes medications after the first 2 or 3 weeks, and they haven't even lost the weight yet. They're still overweight. They're starting to lose maybe 10 pounds in the first 2 weeks, but their weight's going down. They're eating less calories. But you would be amazed at how the type of fats Americans are consuming block the uptake and the function of the insulin molecule. And when you start eating a diet that's so rich in nutrients, the beta cells start to work better, the body becomes less insulin resistant, and immediately you see better function and less need for insulin. So it works so effectively, just to say this is so important, it works so effectively that if your doctor does not reduce your medications significantly when you start the program, your blood sugars could drop so low within the first 2 days that you can become dangerously hypoglycemic and pass out, fall on the floor, hurt yourself, or have a low blood sugar attack. The point I'm making is don't underestimate how effective this is, because you have to work with a physician, so your medications are reduced right at the beginning, or it's not necessarily safe to do so.
That's a really good point. And you're going to show us some tasty Nutritarian recipes that are really good for anybody, but especially for diabetics.
That's right. We're going to show that people can eat delicious tasting food, even desserts, and still have their sugars be well controlled and still lose about 2 pounds a week as they start to achieve their normal weight.
Okay, that sounds good. We're going to do that right when we come back. Welcome back. I'm here with Dr. Joel Fuhrman, and he has prepared some Nutritarian dishes that anybody can enjoy, but especially diabetics. Thank you so much for doing this for us. They look delicious.
They are delicious.
Yeah, so why don't you, tell us why this is so important again.
Well, don't forget, I'm saying that people can wipe out their diabetes completely and have food taste delicious at the same time.
Really? Is it true?
We recently published a study that showed that 90% of people adopting this program became non-diabetic within 6 months.
That's remarkable.
And their average blood pressure, systolic blood pressure, dropped 27 points. That's more drop than even drug studies. So the point is, wiped out their blood pressure, wiped out their diabetes. Food is your best medicine.
So we have here today, what is this? It looks like a pizza, but it's not.
That's right. That's eggplant charlotte. Okay. It's delicious. It's made
with?
Well, it's made with mostly eggplant and some basil and oregano and oatmeal. baked, and it has some nutritional yeast in there, but it's really delicious. Got a tomato sauce on top.
Yeah.
And it makes
This would be your main meal.
Well, it would be part of your main dish, but keep in mind, this is super low in calories. You could eat huge amounts of that stuff.
true.
So very low in calories, no glycemic load in there, doesn't promote insulin, and really fills you up. Real good, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's absolutely
You could sprinkle
delicious.
some red onion, some raw red onion or scallion on top. Delicious. This is pistachio crusted tempeh with balsamic glazed mushrooms.
Yum.
And what I did is I took these thinly sliced
I love
pieces of tempeh. Yeah, I love mushrooms too. So I rolled it in a little cornmeal and pistachio nuts that were ground up, and then of course baked that for about 10 minutes on 375. And so it gives a delicious. Right, you serve this with a salad or a bowl of soup or something, or some green vegetables with onions,
So is a nutritarian diet mostly a vegetarian diet?
Yes, the American diet is over 30% of calories from animal products, and this is less than 10% of calories from animal products. We want people to keep their consumption of animal products below 10% of total calories, which is 2/3 less than the animal product content Americans are presently eating. You have to have room to eat all these high nutrient vegetables so you can get these nutrients into your body, and of course, too much animal protein causes cellular replication and raises hormones that can accelerate diabetes. So we want to keep that protein and fat low, animal fat low.
Now, one of the things that diabetics feel like they cannot eat is sweets, but here you have brownies.
That's right, and that's
Made
the
of
thing.
what?
That's the thing. You can have great tasting desserts. Great tasting desserts. Now, this is a black bean brownie because beans have the lowest glycemic index of all carbohydrates.
Black bean brownie.
Right, made with black beans, cocoa powder, a little almond butter, right, and a little bit of date in there. Yeah, and
It's delicious.
and an avocado, what's that? The icing, avocado icing with icing, avocado, cocoa powder, vanilla, and a few dates in there. So
I could eat this way every day, easily.
delicious, isn't it?
Yeah. I want to thank you so much for being here.
Great to be here, and thanks for having me.
You're welcome. When we come back, we'll talk to a former type 2 diabetic who says switching to a nutritarian diet has allowed him to do away with his medications for good. Welcome back. This is To Your Health, and today we're talking about how you can not only prevent diabetes, but reverse it through nutrition and natural means. No more insulin shots. No more medications? One man who's managed to completely reverse his type 2 diabetes is Tom Wood. Tom changed his lifestyle based on Dr. Joel Fuhrman's book, The End of Diabetes, and he is a firm believer in the nutritarian diet. It's so good to have you with us.
Thank you.
So are you completely healed of type 2 diabetes now?
That is, that's a big question when people say healed or cured. I have normal biomarkers, just like anyone else now. I'm taking no medications for diabetes or for cholesterol, blood pressure, and so forth.
That's remarkable.
So I'm normalized, but there will be mainstream medical doctors and researchers may not say I'm cured, but as long as I stay on a controlled diet, I basically have normal biomarkers, which means I'm normal.
So before we talk about the diet, take us back a little bit. So what was it like for you? How bad was it? Were you on insulin? When were you diagnosed?
I was diagnosed as a type 2 diabetic when I was year 2000. And so I was diabetic from year 2000 to 2015. And during that period of time, they started me out on diabetic pills. And then probably for the last 10 years or so, I was taking insulin, Novolog and Lantus, maybe 30 to 40 units a day before meals and before bed. And I got tired of it. I got tired of the finger pricking. I got tired of all the inoculations 3-4 times a day.
And what was your lifestyle like during that period? Did you exercise? What did you eat?
I was working full time. I had my own companies, and I was working a lot. But every morning, for almost 20 years, I belonged to a health club, and I would work out in the morning, racquetball.
So you did work out. You didn't live a sedentary life.
No, I didn't. No sedentary life, and I never really was heavy.
What did you eat, though?
I was eating
Beforehand.
the term that is used by Joel Fuhrman, so there's the SAD diet, the SAD diet.
The standard American diet.
The standard American diet.
So
which
white
is
bread and white flour.
White flour, lots of salt, lots of sugar, all of the fast foods, processed foods, et cetera, et cetera. And that is not a healthy diet. I mean, that's the bottom line. That is been shown, especially in research in the last 2 or 3 years, to when you have excess sugar in your bloodstream, you're eating more and more sugar, which we were not designed to do. it just causes inflammation all the time at a very low level, increases plaque buildup in the thing, and causes diabetes.
So what was that moment where I mean, it sounds like you got tired of the finger pricking and you didn't want to do it anymore, but how did you come upon the Nutritarian diet?
I just, the phrase I've used, I got sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I just took the time, which I should have taken 15 years prior, and started really reading, really looking at different articles, looking at things on the internet. And I came across this book in January of 2015, The End of Diabetes by Joel Fuhrman, Dr. Joel Fuhrman. And I read the book, and it made a lot of sense. The book has the one thing compared to all of the other writing, he really footnotes everything with references to clinical trials, research articles, and so forth.
So you felt like you were maybe safe trying this diet?
Well, he's saying, this is what I think, and here's why. Boom, 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 boom. And now you're dealing with, you can look them up in the back of the book, and you can go online and look at the trials and so forth. So it's real science.
What changes did you make in your diet?
So the change basically is that he's advocating a vegetarian, but he uses this term, Nutritarian diet, and another term that he uses is nutrient-dense, plant-rich, NDPR.
So do you eat mostly a vegetarian diet?
So you're eating a vegetarian diet, but there's other doctors, other researchers, other people say like a whole foods, plant-based. But plant-based doesn't do it because there's a lot of things that are plants that if you eat them and you're a type 2 diabetic, your sugar will go sky high. You can't live on French fries. You can't live on white bread. And all of those things are derived from potatoes and flour and so forth.
So tell me what you eat.
So you eat a low glycemic. That means the particular foods that you're eating are going to be green leafy vegetables, for instance. And there's probably 20 or 30 of those. You're eating vegetables that have a lower glycemic index and are much more packed with vitamins, minerals, and phytonutrients of one type or another.
So you went on this diet, Tom. How soon before you started to notice a change, and what changes did you notice?
When I went on the diet, you're basically, there's two parts to the diet. One, give up all the other stuff. So basically all processed foods in the beginning, they have like an induction diet. No processed foods. So if it's processed coming in a package or something like that, probably just put it aside. Now that's not 100% true, but it's very close to what you should do. Get rid of all the table salt, all the table sugar. You're going to get rid of all the juices, all of that kind of stuff.
Was it hard to get rid of that stuff?
I made up my mind, so I just did it.
You were determined.
But it is, I think, because I've talked to a lot of other people in the meantime, it's a lot harder for other people. I just said I wasn't going to do it anymore. I got tired.
I want to go back. When did you start to notice a difference?
I started doing the diet in earnest in the last week and a half of 2015, January. And I continued on the diet until the 15th of April, 2015. So it was about 2.5 months. During that period of time, every week, I had to reduce the amount of insulin that I was taking, okay? And for the last probably 3 or 4 weeks, I was taking 1 or 2 units before meals instead of 8 to 10 units.
Were you working with a doctor?
So I'm coming down slowly, huh?
Were you working with a doctor?
No.
When you were taking your
I did this all on my own.
Wow, wow.
But because I've always tracked my blood sugar and all of that, I thought I knew what I was doing. Probably I shouldn't have been doing it alone, but I did it alone, and I just watched very carefully after every meal.
So after 3 months?
After 3 months, I didn't need any more insulin, and I was getting fasting blood sugars overnight of between like 85 and 99.
That's amazing.
And I've been in that range. I mean, you're going to occasionally go higher and lower, but a normal person will too. But averaging in that range for the last 2 years.
So in a nutshell, what would you say to people who are pre-diabetic or diabetic and are feeling like, is it really going to work if I switch to this diet?
You just have to do it. The one thing that I really regret is that the mainstream doctors that I had for those 15 years, there was nobody that said you could be non-diabetic in about 12 weeks. No one told me that.
You figured it out yourself.
Well, he didn't write the book until 2013, but in the year 2000 and all that period of time, the bottom line is no one said that, and there's a lot of evidence out there going all the way back to the 1970s. Bariatric surgery, where you get your stomach stapled and so forth. People that are overweight, They probably are diabetic also at the same time, but they found out unintended, within 3 weeks they became non-diabetics just because they reduced that huge amount of weight. I didn't have that much kind of weight to lose, but I still followed the diet and it worked out.
Thank you so much. It's really an inspiration.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. When we come back, God's Love We Deliver will be in the kitchen to show us how to prepare an easy dish that's not only nutritious and sugar-free, but totally delicious. Welcome back. We're here with Chef Andre Daquigan and nutritionist Lisa Zullig from God's Love We Deliver in New York City. Every weekday, God's Love cooks and delivers 6,200 delicious, nutritious meals customized to the health needs of their clients living with all kinds of life-altering illnesses. God's Love serves clients in New York City, Westchester and Nassau counties, and Hudson County in New Jersey. And today, Chef Andre and Lisa are here to show us one of their favorite simple, healthy dishes that's not only great for diabetics, but is enjoyable for everybody. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
So it looks like we are going to make chicken today.
Absolutely. We're going to make chicken breast with lentil dal. We're going to serve that with some brown rice and some sauteed broccoli.
That sounds delicious. Now, why is that particular meal, this particular meal, healthy for diabetics?
It's a very well-rounded plate, so we recommend that your plate is half vegetables, non-starchy vegetables, so the broccoli, a large portion with broccoli, the 1/4 of your plate a lean protein, chicken is a great source, and then the other a whole grain, so the rice, the brown rice, and the legumes, which are very high in soluble fiber, which helps people with diabetes keep their blood sugar at a stable level throughout the day.
And that's why you want a non-starchy vegetable as well, right?
Yes.
To keep the blood sugar down.
Yes.
Okay, good. So how are we starting?
Terrific. So first we're going to start the chicken off on the stovetop. I'm going to hit it with a little of my secret spice rub.
It's a secret spice?
Secret spice
Okay,
rub,
you're not going to tell us what's in it, really?
No, I'm just kidding. It's not secret. It's just the usual suspects, a little salt, pepper, ground sage, paprika.
Okay.
Those kinds of things. So we're going to start this off. May I have the oil, please, Lisa?
Now, what kind of oil?
This is a blend of extra virgin olive oil and canola oil.
Do you think that's a particularly healthy blend, Lisa?
Yeah, they're both monounsaturated fats, which is excellent to help people keep their cholesterol down. And people with diabetes often are at risk for cardiovascular disease also, so.
What are you searing this? I don't even know the right term.
I am.
for that.
I'm going to give it a nice little brown on the skin side. Going to get that skin to start to crisp up. And then I'm going to flip it over and finish it off in the oven.
About how long?
To start crisping the skin, I would probably say no more than a couple of minutes.
No more than a couple
Yeah,
minutes.
and it's a nicely hot pan. And as you can see, it's sizzling away. All right, so it looks like we started it off.
Oh,
right?
that's beautiful.
Right, got a little bit of color. And again, I'm going to take this and place it in our oven to finish off. Pardon me.
Why from the stovetop to the oven? What does that do?
Well, you know, it's a less direct heat, right? So we started it off on the stovetop to get a nice sear on it, and then we put it in the oven where the heat is a little more gentle, and it'll cook without getting that really direct heat that can cause burning.
What's the temperature in the stove?
That stove is at about 375 degrees.
Okay.
All right.
And next?
The next thing we're going to do is our lentil dal. Pardon me?
Lentil dal. Now, Lisa, do you know what dal means? I love lentil dal, but I don't even know what dal means.
It's stew.
Stew.
It's traditionally from Indian cuisine.
Right.
Different parts of the region have different types of spices that go into the stew, but it's today, I don't know, what are we using today, Andre?
We are using ginger, garlic, and some shallot to start off. This is our aromatic blend here, right?
Ginger and garlic, I know, are extremely healthy.
They are. I mean, they're antibacterial, and also the ginger, for people who have nausea or anything, we recommend using ginger to help them alleviate those symptoms.
And as your spices, and I know this is turmeric, and you use some
cumin and coriander. It's going to give it almost that curry-style flavor to it. Again, to elicit flavors from India, right? So luckily, I have started some lentils earlier, and these are cooked off
lentils. These are what? Say it again.
These are green lentils that I cooked off earlier, and they were cooked off in just simply veg stock, which I have more of because that's going to go in here also.
Why are lentils especially good for diabetics?
They're a good source of soluble fiber, which helps, again, maintain the blood glucose at a stable level. And it's also good for the cholesterol levels. It helps reduce cholesterol in the body.
This is a meal that anybody could enjoy.
Absolutely, yeah.
Lisa, can you hand me the veg stock, please? And we are going to finish this off. It shouldn't take too long because, like I said before, the lentils have been pre-cooked, and we're going to...
So what kind of consistency are you looking for?
Stew-like, but with a little bit of give. We're using this actually as a sauce, right, to go with
the chicken.
With the chicken, exactly. So it's going to be served on top of the chicken, but as in a lot of Indian food, this can be used as its own vegetarian course. You know, this could be served with paratha or any number of breads at the...
Naan.
Yeah, naan, exactly. It'd
Delicious.
be lovely with some
You don't want to eat too much naan, though. It's a little caloric.
It is. So we'll finish that off over there, get that simmering.
And then you're making broccoli next?
I am. I'm going to make broccoli. And this is just a small side veg of sauteed broccoli.
The problem with a lot of cooking, I think, with a lot of Americans when they cook, is they overcook things. They leave things on the stove too long. They overcook the vegetables, right? You don't want to cook this too long.
No, you don't. And in fact, I did this kind of restaurant style. I blanched and shocked this broccoli earlier. And so I took it to the point of holding. And so, like in a restaurant, when you're finishing off a dish, all you have to do is grab a little bit of it and finish it off in a pan. Say, saute it for a moment or two with the garlic and the olive oil, and you're ready to plate in just a minute.
About how long?
With this, it's going to be just a minute because, like I said, it's pretty much cooked. We're just finishing it. And in fact, can you hand me that veg stock over there, Lisa? I think we're just going to kick it up a little bit. We're going to add a tiny bit of veg stock. Right? And so we're almost finishing steaming it off, just like that.
Delicious. That looks great.
Right? Right. And...
Oh, great. And the brown rice.
And the brown rice.
Now, brown rice is considered healthier.
It's a whole grain.
Than white rice?
Yeah, exactly. It's a whole grain. It has the whole bran intact. It has more vitamins, B vitamins, and also the soluble fiber, which is excellent for blood glucose control, blood sugar control, and also cholesterol. Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Very good.
Okay, so I'm supposed to taste, yes?
You are.
Okay. It looks lovely. Wow. Okay. Mmm. Mmm. Delicious.
Yay.
Mm. Absolutely wonderful. Now, I know, Lisa, that you actually have a cookbook.
We do.
God's Love We Deliver cookbook. It's so beautiful. I was just looking at it. You tell me a little bit about it. You've got all sorts of celebrities in here and their stories.
It's a collection of stories and recipes from our friends, notable celebrities, many of them, and they've shared stories with us about food. So it's not just a recipe book, it's also a story book. And the profits go all to God's Love, and it's available on our website, which is glwd.org. So check it out.
Thank you so much for being here today. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So everyone, that's our show today. Check out our show page for more information on this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Here is To Your Health.